Hello students, so through this session we'll continue with the same chapter, the open window, and we had discussed about the first comprehension of that, and you know that who is Franklin Nuttall and why he went to the countryside, for which reason, and to whom did he met there. So now in this second video of this, I'll continue with the second part of this. So that you know that already Mrs. Sappleton niece was there, and she already had told many things to Phantom Nuttall. But now what happened? Now Mrs. Sappleton will come to the room, and there what happened, what kind of a discussion will continue there, that we'll see here in this video. So I am starting here from page number 58, second comprehension. She broke off with a little shudder. It was a relief to Phantom when the aunt bustled into the room with a whirl of apologies for being late in making her appearance. So suddenly Mrs. Sappleton, she just entered into the room. First of all, she felt sorry because of being late. Then further what happened? I hope Vera has been amusing you, she said. So what was the name of her niece, that little girl who was just entertaining Phantom Nuttall? The name of that girl was Vera. Now, she has been very interesting, said Phantom. So Phantom also just replied positively about Vera, and she said that yes, she was actually interesting. I hope you don't mind the open window, said Mrs. Sappleton. So Mrs. Sappleton also started the talk with that open window only, and she said, I hope you don't mind that window is open. Briskly, my husband and brothers will be home directly from shooting, and they always come in this way. They have been out for snipe in the marshes today, so they will make a fine mess over my poor carpets. You like menfolk, isn't it? So this is going on, that Phantom Nuttall just explained almost everything to Mrs. Sappleton has explained everything to Phantom Nuttall, that my husband and brothers, they are just went out for the shooting, and I know that why they will just come through that window only, and as they will enter the room, they will just spoil the room, the clarity of the room. So that's why the window is open. They will directly enter into the room, and they will wash themselves. She rattled on cheerfully about the shooting and scarcity of birds and the prospects of for duck in the winter. To Phantom, it was all purely horrible. So she rattled on cheerfully about the shooting. So after seeing Mrs. Sappleton, no one can judge that there was some tragedy with that girl. So that's why they are using such words there. And Phantom Nuttall also was shocked that why so cheerfully she is just sharing her experience like that. If that is a tragedy, she should be sad, but she's still hopeful that they will come back. So that was, they're saying, quite horrible for Phantom Nuttall. Definitely for a new person, if something like this is going on. So there are many of the questions will be there in the mind. He made a desperate but only partial successful effort to turn the talk onto a less ghastly topic. He was conscious that his hostess was giving him only a fragment of her attention, and her eyes were constantly straying past him to the open window and the lawn beyond. So Phantom Nuttall was quite surprised after seeing the treatment of his treatment only by Mrs. Sappleton. Although she was continuously attending Phantom Nuttall, she was talking to him only, but her eyes were continuously moving outside as he's just waiting for someone. And to whom he was waiting? Actually, he was waiting for her husband and her brothers only, and he's continuously watching outside from the window. So that was a horrible thing for Phantom Nuttall. And although the niece of him, actually, she had already told Phantom Nuttall that they had died and they didn't come back almost for months. The doctors agree in ordering me complete rest and absence of mental excitement and avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical exercise. So Phantom Nuttall, just for changing the topic, he started about himself, and he said that doctor had advised me that I should not do much mental exercise, I should not actually overthink, and they had just advised me that I should just go on some lonely place wherever peace will be there, and I should spend time there. who labored under the tolerably widespread delusion and strong stranger in chance acquaintances, are hungry for the least detail of one's ailment and infirmities, their cause and cure. On the matter of diet, they are not so much in agreement, he continued. So, Phantom Little is just telling about himself only, and he's saying that although the doctors didn't say anything to me that I should just leave special foods and something like that, for food habit I can continue with my own choice only, but yes, whatever actually guidance was there from the doctors, that I should live on a peaceful place, I should just be away from kind of delusions and overthinking, and some strangers. If you will just change the company, if you will go with some strangers, so definitely it can help you. So here fundamental is just telling about himself only, and he just want to divert his mind also, because he is also going there for curing his nerves only. And on the other hand, where he went, actually he went to a place where almost everything is looking horrible. No, said Mrs. Sappleton, in a voice which only replaced a yawn in the last moment. Then she suddenly brightened into alert attention, but not to what Frenton was saying. So here they are at least, she cried, just in time for tea, and don't they look as they were muddy up to the eyes. So suddenly, as they were talking, Mrs. Sappleton, he just looked outside and he said that here they are. Actually, they are coming from the window. She's still talking about them only, and she said they see how muddy they are as they are coming from shooting. So their shoes, their clothes are totally muddy. That is just full of smeared with the sand and all. Frentum shivered slightly and turned towards the knees with a look intended to convey sympathetic comprehension. So as he was already confirmed, so he is also thinking that Mrs. Sappleton is not in his conscious mind. So Frentum actually looked towards her knees only, and he was also kind of sympathy was there in her in his eyes that time. The child was starting out through the open window with a dazed horror in her eyes. So that girl, where she also actually looked out, and there was sudden horror in her eyes. What did she see actually? In a chill shock of nameless fear, Frentum swung round in his seat and looked in the same direction. And likewise, as she was continuing watching outside only, Frentum also turned and she started just watching outside the window. In the deepening twilight, the figures were walking across the lawn towards the window. They all carried guns under their arms. So what did they notice there? That yes, the people were coming. Three figures. Who were the three figures as they were talking about? Three figures, they were walking in the lawn only. One of them were carried guns as they were returning from the shooting. Then on the other hand, one is wearing a white coat, and that white coat was hung over his shoulders only. A tired brown spaniel, whose spaniel I had told you in the beginning, that spaniel was a dog, so that dog is also there along with them. So why that's all is happening, that was quite shocking for everyone. And see further. Frenton grabbed wildly at his stick and hat, and the hall door, the gravel drive, and the front gate were dimly noted stages in his headlong street. So as Frenton Little saw that, actually that time only, she just put his stick from there, she just grabbed almost, and his hat from there, and he ran towards the gate. A cyclist coming along the road had to run into the hedge or to avoid imminent collision, and he was that much in hurry that as he just gone out from the gate, a cyclist, a person on the cycle, was going rushly, and it was about to be an accident. So he saved himself that time only. Here we are, my dear, said the bearer of the white mackintosh coming in through the window. Who was that who bolted out as we came up? So as that person who was having that white coat in his hand, who had hung that white coat in his shoulder only, he entered and he just greeted that here we are. A most extraordinary man, Mr. Nuttall, said Mrs. Sappleton. He could only talk about his illness and dashed off without a word of goodbye or apology. When you arrived, one would think he had seen a ghost. So as they entered, so Mrs. Appleton also said, so that see that person who just arrived there. They are talking about Phantom Nettle, that how rude he is, that as he has seen you that you are coming, he just ran away with his things from here, and he even he didn't say goodbye to us. So that was actually problem for them, and they were also amazed that why he was behaving so. But who had done that? Actually Vera, that little girl who had just explained about the family somewhere wrong to a new person. I expect it was a spaniel, said the niece calmly. He told me he had a horror of dogs. He was once. Still she is saving herself only. She is saying that I am expecting that he didn't actually ran from here after seeing them only, but why he ran from there? Because he has seen the spaniel, the dog, and he was telling me that I have some fear for the dogs. So he was once haunted into a cemetery. Now she is again making a story in front of them only, although she, whatever she had told to Phantom Nettle, that was totally a lie. Now she is further telling the story that somewhere on the banks of the Ganges, by a pack of dogs, and had to spend a night in a newly dug grave with the creature snarling and grinning and foaming. So like that only, she is just telling another story on Phantom Little, that he had a bad experience about the dogs, and he had seen something like that in a graveyard and like that only. So what did we actually get from this? That girl, 15-year-old girl Vera, either she was quite naughty or she was in habit of making stories, as she used to apply that on everyone. As Phantom Little was very new to the place, he didn't know anyone. So as the first actually meeting was that girl only. So she had already explained many things wrong to that person. Now for saving himself, that they should not come to know that she had done everything, she is making another story in front of Mrs. Sappleton and her family. So this was all about your this chapter, an open window. So you will complete this chapter, and apart from that, now further I think your test will continue, so we'll be in contact and I will tell you about that. Thank you.